Good evening and welcome in to Junior LC8 football here from Columbia as we're at Southwest General Stadium at Columbia High School. Big thank you, of course, to all of these high school facilities opening up the press boxes and the fields for these youngsters. That is 5th and 6th grade tackle football. We're here with week 2, another doubleheader of Junior LC8 football. I'm Max Drummond. I'll be joined shortly by my partner tonight, Paul Williams, as well as we have Sam Sovacool on the camera in the booth with us. And first up, we're bringing you Clearview against Firelands, as we saw the Falcons last week. And we'll be seeing Clearview for the first time, as the Falcons will take over on offense to start the game, as they were able to win the toss, and that's the route they chose to go. I want to thank you for coming along, as you may have been here last night for our high school games. And a friendly reminder, we're always going to be here on Saturdays through the regular season and into their playoffs. So it's an exciting time. It certainly feels like fall, doesn't it, Pauls? I'll bring you in on the broadcast.
It does. It's like this week it kind of snapped into football weather, and it's exciting to get out here and see these young kids. Firelands versus Clearview should be a good matchup today.
Certainly should. I'm glad you mentioned Fairview, because they were in town last night to play Columbia, and the Raiders with the exciting win. And their youth team will be the second game in our doubleheader this evening, as they are, of course, the hosting team in this week's games, as we are in just week 2. So while everybody else at the college level may have been catching up, Junior LC8's already been in some action last week, and we got to see a pair of games then, and we should be just about ready to get things going at the 35 here for Firelands offense. As we mentioned before, we did get to see them last week, and they had a very effective game plan, and you'll get to see that, Paul, on full display, as their quarterback, Sam Lingus, he has got quite the arm on him, and he can scramble a bit, so we'll look forward to seeing him in action and a few other key names.
Yeah, I remember even last season the Fireland squad had an exciting offense that really wasn't afraid to throw the ball, unlike a couple other teams around the league.
So we saw Lingus a bit last week, and we did see one other quarterback rotate in as well, so we'll see who they choose to go with, as it looks like Connor Voros may be lined up in the pistol at the moment, as he did get some playing time last week, so this isn't a brand new sight, and it will be him in the pistol to start out. Clearview with 4 down linemen, and the second and third level playing pretty far off the ball, and right now Fireland's going to try to take advantage of that. That's going to be a handoff to the right side, and more than enough for a first down. Rushing ahead, I believe, is going to be Harrison Lenhart on that one.
Yeah, Lenhart got about 14 there, found one crease and took advantage of it. Great start for the Firelands offense.
Yeah, they saw those linebackers almost 10 yards off the ball back at the first down marker, and they said, well, we may have passed it a bit last week. Why not get this ground game started?
Yeah, and if they can start to expose Clearview to that, it's going to be really tough to stop them and figure out where they're going to hurt you from.
So this is our first time seeing Clearview on the season. It's a very sharp, all blue uniform they've got on today. So snap is back. Trouble with it. Voros, he's going to have to just fall on it. Fortunately, it ended up back close to the line of scrimmage, but may have been looking to hand it off before he got the ball there.
Yeah, it looked like he might have kind of had a little confusion in the backfield about what he wanted to do. Either way, they were fortunate, not really many blue shirts around.
So now just under 8 minutes to go, as these are 9-minute quarters here at the Junior LC8, as we're in year 3 of covering 5th and 6th grade tackle here on Saturdays, normally in the afternoon. Right now we are fortunate enough to see a night game and or an evening game, and possibly see them under the lights later on. So we'll see how the sunset affects it. It's just a beautiful day here in Columbia Station. Heading in motion is going to be Deacon Cooley, and he'll set up as he communicated for a moment with Voros, who's going to take it. It's a sweep all the way to the right side. He gets to the sideline, and he'll get across midfield and make this third down a little bit more manageable.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded the quarterback there to maybe put his head down, try to get a couple extra yards, but either way, it is third and manageable. Let's see if we see a pass for the first time today.
And Voros, he got a chance late in the game last week to line up under center, as Lingus, it appears, either will be used elsewhere or not 100% certain if he is out there today. So it's good they gave Voros some reps last week. He'll face his first third down, as will the rest of the Falcons offense of this opening drive. Snap is back. He's going to turn hand. We're going to see Lenhart again as he's like that right side, and it's clear to see why as he rushes ahead inside the 40, moving the chains once again.
Same exact play that showed success on the first play of the game, and if it's not broke, why fix it?
Perfect assessment there is, they're going to keep hitting that right side of the line if they choose to, and that's even with a couple extra defenders over there, especially the large stature for Clearview's Jace Wilt as he switches sides to the wide side of the field now.
Yeah, Clearview has a few big boys out there.
See if they can help corral this run game that the Falcons have going so far, as it's the opening drive here. They've been pretty successful so far. Voros will see another man in motion. Cooley's going to keep it this time as he gets it around the left edge, and he might find the edge. He's at the 20, 15, 10. He's tripped up and goes down right inside the 5. But that's our first explosive play of the evening here in Columbia.
Yeah, heck of a run, 30-plus yards. Only thing I hope he can maybe finish this drive because he really deserved to get the touchdown there with that explosive run.
That he did. Once again, that was Deacon Cooley, who earlier in the drive we saw go in motion, but they didn't go his way that time. They do, and Clearview not able to set the edge there, and it's first and goal from the 5.
Yeah, and Clearview early on is having trouble really even getting any action to the outside to get the Firelands runner. So hopefully they could do something here.
It's been a lot of east-west. We'll see if they try that again this close to the end zone. Boros gets everybody set. Snap is back. That's going to go around the right side to Lenhart. He's got the speed, and he's got the touchdown. Opening drive score for Firelands, as we saw him plenty last week, and once again he gets a steady diet here on this first drive of the game for Firelands, 6-0.
Yeah, and that's the definition of a walk-in touchdown right there. He didn't have a clipper within a few feet of him, so very, very impressive and dominant drive the Falcons open up this game with.
So now we'll see them set up at the 3, and see what they have in store here on this 1-point conversion. We'll see that pistol look once again with a wing back over to the right. Snap around the left side. Cooley, it worked earlier in the drive, and that time he finishes off the point after attempt, making it 7-0 Firelands here on the Lorain County Sports Network, as we'll step aside for a moment as the teams switch sides, and we'll see the Clearview offense for the first time here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here in the first quarter on the Lorain County Sports Network as we bring you junior LC8 football. Firelands leading at the moment. A score of 7-0 over Clearview. And for this Clearview offense. We'll see what they have in store. As on their opening play of the drive, they lost a yard, and we'll see them come out in the I formation.
Yeah, Firelands defense got more penetration on that one play than Clearview has thus far the whole game.
And this one's going to be blown dead early, and they're going to be going backwards once again are the Clippers.
Not the ideal start for the Clippers here, especially after giving up an early touchdown to Firelands. They're kind of in need of a play right here to get some momentum going for their side.
That they are, and now that'll make it second and around 16 or 17 yards to go with 4:41 remaining. As the clock will now move, and Clearview will get back under center. Now they'll pitch out to the left side, and that ball is going to go haywire, and it's going to be a Falcon jumping on it. And I believe that's going to be the 20 of Alex Schaefer, and that'll give the ball right back to Firelands.
And you talk about a nightmare start. I don't know if it could get any worse for the Clippers, but on the flip side of that, Firelands defense following up their offense. What a great start for the Falcons, and now they're in great field position to go up 2 scores possibly.
And that's just the definition of complementary football, as they'll mark it at the 25 there. And Firelands will get the ball back with 4:25 to go here in this first quarter. And we'll see what they have in store. Got to imagine it's more of the same. And, you know, Voros making his first start, so he did get some snaps, but officially his first start of the season. So maybe don't want to risk his affecting his confidence by putting the ball in harm's way through the air. We'll see what they have, though.
Yeah, not much reason to right now with what they looked like on that first drive.
As Lionheart lines up behind him. We called his name a lot on that opening drive, and he'll get it again. Going up the middle, bouncing it right. That's it. Been his specialty. Following blockers inside the 10, cutting through some Clippers. He'll get tackled down to the 5-yard line and set him up first and goal.
20-yard burst right there, and Clearview's really going to have to switch something up on defense because the Falcons are having their way. I don't know if they'll need to throw the ball once at this rate.
As they are controlling time of possession right now, plays run, and like Paul alluded to there, the rushing category, it's all Falcons so far. As we'll see if those linebackers, obviously now they have no choice but to get closer to the line of scrimmage, but we'll see if the second and third levels kind of pack the box a bit here for Clearview. 3:35 to go on a running first quarter clock here from Columbia Station. As they're hosting this game, we'll see a pass. It's going to be a screen out to Boos, and that's too easy. Branson Boos gets to the pylon, touchdown, as Voros throws his first touchdown of the season. And that's an easy pitch and catch right there, and Firelands made it look that way.
And through the first 5+ minutes, I think that's been the key word, easy. It's been really easy, at least looking that way for the Falcons so far. Just impressive offense on both of their drives now.
As they've been able to do whatever they would like here in the opening portion of this game. And now we'll see them go for 2 this time, it appears.
Yep, and that's what opening up the offense does with 5-6 straight runs that are all successful to open the game. It gets your receivers and your screens wide open like we saw there.
Now they'll come out, as we'll likely see them in this pistol look very often. Cooley in motion. There is a flag down, but Cooley, he doesn't care. He's going to go all the way, crosses the goal line, and he's in. So we'll see what the call is. They're going to say it's good. May have been a 12th man on the field that time, so a little confusion there for Clearview as they were trying to get set there for that point after try, as it is now 14-0 in favor of Firelands here in week 2 on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here early in the game between Clearview and Firelands of Junior LC8 football, which you can find here on YouTube every Saturday. The times may be a little different this year, but I promise we'll be in a stadium each week through the 7-week regular season and then into the 3 rounds of playoffs, as year 1 saw Columbia take the championship, and then last season, our first one on YouTube, went home to the Keystone Wildcats. But right now, Firelands making an early claim after a nice win last week and another nice start today to possibly be in that discussion. So we're going to see the snap out of the I formation. Quarterback, I believe, may have had his foot stepped on or something of that nature, as it looks like Eli Cannon Santiago is going to hit the deck there, and he'll lose around 4.
And Clearview on both sides of the ball, they just don't seem to be in rhythm. I really hope they can turn it down, and the great thing about it, it is still very early, despite the deficit. All it takes is a couple big plays. They could get right back in this game.
So now we'll see what they have in store. It does look like he went to the sideline that time, did Cannon Santiago, one of the captains of this Clearview team, as he was out for the coin toss. So he'll be getting some steps and going back and forth for the play calls. Now he'll set up with a single back look behind him on 2nd and 14 to go. Snap is back. He's trying to get it to his running back, but it looked like him and Caden Tolliver were not on the same page, and he gets taken down for another loss.
And I can't decide what's been more impressive, the offense of Firelands or the defense. I don't think they've given up a positive play yet.
So we'll see a timeout here from the Clearview coaching staff, and that'll stop the clock here at the 2:20 to go. So we'll take a quick timeout with them and be right back here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here in the opening quarter between Firelands and Clearview in Junior LCA football, as the Clippers just spent a timeout there ahead of this 3rd and long, as they'll give it off on a sweep this time, as that's going to be Caden Tolliver trying to find the edge, and that'll be their first positive play of the game, I do believe, but nowhere near close enough for the conversion.
The fact you said you do believe kind of sums it up. They did get positive yardage. It ended up being only about 1 yard, and it seemed like he might get a decent gain there, and then all of a sudden he was just swallowed up.
It's good pursuit, and, I do think that is a positive sign they may have found, as when they've gone under center, they haven't been able to get anything going, even to get a handoff. So that time made it a lot easier to get Tolliver in space on the sweep.
Yeah, that 1 yard could end up being a lot more important than just a positive gain.
So now we'll set up for 4th down and 14 to go, as it looks like the official I believe he's making sure everybody's on the line so they don't have too many in the backfield. So now they'll get set. Snap is back low. He's able to corral it. Tolliver gets around the right side, makes one man miss. He's got a long way to go and a lot of Falcons in his way. He's going to be stopped after a few yards, so that'll give the ball back to Firelands, leading 15-0.
Still, though, I think a few good signs there for Clearview to end that drive. It seems like if they can get Tolliver out in a little space, he may be able to do some damage.
Yeah, it's been tough for the first guy to bring him down on those last 2 plays, so definitely a source to go back to. But it definitely, the result now makes it pretty difficult on this defense. As if you did choose to do the 25-yard walkout punt, it looks like Firelands still may have been in opposing territory, but right now your defense backed up inside their own 33.
Yeah, I probably agree with you there. But for the other side with Firelands, I truly don't think they could have gotten off to a better start. They have played a perfect game so far.
They have. Is that offense, you're seeing them retake the field now, as they'll get set with 1:05 to go here in the first quarter. This is the first of our doubleheader this evening, as, of course, right now we've got Firelands and Clearview for you, and it will be followed up with Columbia hosting Oberlin. That'll be on a new separate stream after this one is complete. So now Voros gets the snap, rolling out right. He's got a man wide open and hauling that in and taking it to the house. Andrew Brubaker from about 33 yards out for the score.
Wow, Andrew Brubaker was waiting for about 4 seconds for him to throw the ball. He had been open the entire time, and it just seems like the Falcons have a new play that's leaving the Clippers confused on every single first down.
You mentioned the time. It probably felt like an eternity to him. He just wants it to get there.
Yes.
He's like, don't mess this up. And he did nothing of the sort, taking it all the way, as it is now a 21-point advantage for Firelands with 55 seconds to go in the first quarter. So now, after going for 2 last time, they will set up at the 3 for just a 1-point attempt. Voros, who's had the chance to show off his arm now a little bit, gives, and it's back to old Reliable, and check that. Instead of Lenhart, this time it'll be Ezekiel Jones weaving his way into the end zone, and he puts the Falcons ahead 22-0 here in the first quarter. As each team hits the sidelines, we'll step aside for a moment and be back with more coverage here of Junior LC8 football on the Lorraine County Sports Network. Welcome back into Junior LCA football coverage as we bring you Firelands versus Clearview here in week 2 of the regular season. Firelands holding a 22-0 advantage here in the opening quarter of play. Clearview getting another chance here on offense as see him drop back, and they try that one over the middle as it looked like the target on that one was going to be Ryan Simmons. Just a little too low as it looked like a quick pass that time from Cannon Santiago.
Yeah, and Simmons has some size on him. He's tall and he weighs about 128 pounds, big boy.
So if he can get the ball in his hands, look out, as we'll now set up 2nd and 10. Awaiting Cannon Santiago to return to deliver the play call. As we haven't seen them huddle too often, so interesting dynamic, getting everybody in place to now deliver the play.
Maybe they should start huddling a
Well,
little bit.
and we'll see what kind of strategy they choose to go with here as the game unfolds. He'll get the snap. Pitches it at the last moment as we're going to see 1, 2 broken tackles. And taking off, heading down the sideline, Caden Tolliver. So for getting that pitch awful late, he made the most of it, and he is going to be very close to moving the chains.
And each time Tolliver has had the ball in his hands, whether it was a 1-yard gain or a 9 or 10-yard gain like that run, it's clear he has some electricity to him. And I think Clearview could use someone like that to really get them a spark to possibly get them back in this game.
Yeah, I think the amount of yards he's gotten, as you alluded to there, it's increased every time he's touched the ball. So look out, maybe in a play or two he doubles or triples that or takes it to the house. It seems like he's got that potential.
I'd like to see him get it maybe on a screen at some point, get him in real space, see what he can do.
Now he'll line up out in the slot there on the left side of the formation. But before we see this next play, we've got the quarter break as the first quarter comes to an end here in the first game of our coverage of junior LC8 football, with Firelands leading 22-0 over Clearview. You're watching on the Lorain County Sports Network. Second quarter getting under play here from Columbia Station, as right now we've got Firelands and Clearview coming at you. And we're going to see around the edge on another sweep, and it's going to be Tolliver again as he takes off to the outside, lowers the boom on somebody as he flips the field right there.
A flag came out early, and I think it froze the Firelands defense a little bit, and Clearview took quick advantage of it.
So the flag there may be moving Clearview back anyways, despite the stoppage from some of the defenders. So instead of a major Caden Tolliver gain on that one, it's going to result in losing 5 yards as they'll set back up at 1st and 15. So likely a procedural penalty on that one. And boy, did they need that big chunk of yards right there. We'll see if they can go back to them here.
Yeah, and even with that coming back, though, I mean, there's been encouraging play after encouraging play over the past 4 or 5 downs for the Clippers, so they have to be feeling a little better about that.
Tolliver in motion again. He won't get it this time. He's the decoy. Instead, it's going to go to Braxton Gonzalez as he finds a lane, and he'll get back the penalty yardage and a little bit more.
And that's why getting a guy like Tolliver going is so important. It's not just for him to have the ball in his hands. It's because of what he does to the defense and how they have to play honest and and then he can get other guys involved.
And it certainly looked like he affected it there, as you alluded to, and opened up the interior of that defense. So now they'll set up for 2nd down and 9 as we're just over 8 minutes to go on a moving clock here in the second quarter. Firelands leading 22-0 at the moment. But Clearview having a few successful plays back-to-back here. So try to keep it going. Tolliver in motion. He'll get it this time and check that. That's going to be a fumbled exchange as he picks it up and tries to get some yards out of it, but just a sure tackle. And his speed can't be used that time as Branson Boost brings him down for the loss.
Yeah, and it looked like Cannon Santiago, I don't think he realized the ball was on the ground. I think he thought he handed it off, but it was on the ground for a good 3 or 4 seconds before anyone got to it.
And not a clean exchange between quarterback and playmaker there. As with some of the plays we've seen so far this evening, you almost expect Tolliver to get away on that one, but a good job by Boost, the corner at the bottom of your screen, setting the edge that time, and now it forces third and forever.
Yeah, Boost has been everywhere so far tonight, getting in the end zone, making plays on defense, doing it all.
As you can see now, looks like he found something on the field he's going to throw off to the side.
He's literally doing it all.
So now he'll set back up and he'll try to defend this Clearview offense. We'll see them get set here. Snap is back, and he's going to keep it. Cannon Santiago going around the right side, cuts it back, and he'll gain about 5 or 6. Be brought down well short of that first down line to gain.
Yeah, still, I mean, positive yards right now. That the Clippers, I'm sure, will take it, but I'd like to really see them extend this drive because I think this is the most momentum, even if it wasn't a ton, that they've had built up so far.
And it certainly warms him up in this game as we've only seen about 1 or 2 pass attempts so far from him. So maybe getting him going on the ground might find him some mojo. And clearly he's got a few guys he can get the ball to. As we've seen Tolliver and Gonzalez look pretty good after the handoffs.
Yeah, and they have some size elsewhere, so Clearview does look like they could have an offense that could put some points on the board.
Yeah, it has some potential to it for sure as we get to 5.5 minutes to go here in the second. 4th and 11 as we're going to see the ball end up in Tolliver's hands immediately on this pass. Cuts outside. He's got a lane. He's going down the sideline. He's going to pick up the first down and just a little bit more, and that'll move the chains on 4th and long.
And that's what a playmaker is. He had no business picking up that first down and then some. But some players just are able to find the holes when they're there, find ways to make things happen. And that's the biggest play of the game by far for the Clippers. Great run right there from Tolliver.
And he's been willing this offense forward at times here this evening. As Firelands, obviously, they know what a good offensive output looks like. They've got one of their own, but right now they might not have an answer for Tolliver.
Yeah, and this drive is doing wonders for the Clippers defense, for the Clippers confidence. Overall, that was such a huge play, and you can feel a different vibe coming from that sideline.
Yeah, and I mean, the longer they're able to work with it here, you talk about helping their defense. I mean, it keeps Firelands off the field as we're at 4.5 minutes to go, so it's been a nice chunk of time coming off as well. So snap is back, he corrals it. This time it's going to go to Gonzalez. He'll hit that left side. Not as much success there. Maybe gets back to the line.
Yes, still though, I think he might have got a yard or two. And with how they were struggling early on, any positive yards, it's a win for the Clippers right now. Just got to keep building on it. And I'd like to see, especially with them being on Firelands side of the field, maybe get a little more aggressive, try to air 1 or 2 out.
As we've seen a couple of pass attempts now from Cannon Santiago, but only one really down the field. It looked like it may have been the equivalent of like a tight end pop pass to Ryan Simmons. We'll see if he or someone else gets any more targets down the field as we see another minute come off the clock here. He'll get everybody in place. I formation set. And he'll try to give it to the fullback, but ball is on the ground. I'm not even sure if the fullback knew he was going to be on the receiving end of it, and we've got a dog pile for it.
And I think on each of Clearview's drive, they had at least one fumble, whether it resulted in a turnover. It hurts them, and it hurts their drives.
So it doesn't appear the possession has changed as our man on the cam, Sam, trying to get a nice close-up for you. but it looks like it will stay with the Clippers. So now we're under 3 minutes to go here, and we've got a crucial 3rd and 10, although, as we've seen, they don't mind going for it on 4th down, so in their eyes, there's definitely 2 plays to get this first down.
Yeah, and with the Columbia Raiders leading 22-0 at the moment with 2:40 left, Clearview's probably hoping to hold the ball the rest of the half, so they're in no hurry to get a playoff, but this is a big possession and a big moment for them in this game.
So now we'll see what they have for us here. 3rd and 10 from the 39. They'll pitch it out, and this time trying to find a lane. It looked like John Lowe, but he wasn't able to get anywhere on that one.
And that was an interesting pitch. He kind of pitched but threw it, and it was I think they were fortunate that didn't turn into another ball that touched the ground.
As Lowe had to extend pretty far, may have affected his get off speed there after getting the ball. So now, either way, it brings up a 4th and we'll say 12 to go. And gotta imagine a guy we haven't seen in a couple plays will be heavily involved here in Caden Tolliver.
This is the time players like that get the ball in their hands, and you live with the results if you're Clearview.
So he will head out there next to Lowe and Cannon Santiago. So even if they can't convert here, we're under 1.5 minutes remaining, so it'll make it tougher for Firelands ensuing possession if they get the ball back.
And that's why Clearview's in an interesting position. They want to take as much time off while also preserving time in case they get the first down.
So now 4th and 13. Tolliver's going to get it run immediately to the left, follow some blockers, cuts back, and he's cutting through, and he's going to get that first down. Another chain-moving play by the explosive Tolliver.
And another play where he was not supposed to get that first down. I'm telling you, there's just these guys. They just have a knack to get it done, and he's really putting the Clippers on his shoulders right now. It is looking like in between plays, he's a little gassed, but he's still getting it done when he gets the ball. So I guess they'll deal with that.
Yeah, it's like when the ball is snapped, it flips a switch. He doesn't even think about it. So now 30 seconds remaining, and we'll see if they use a timeout here. It looks like they will. And we'll take one with them with 27 seconds to go. Firelands up 22-0 on Clearview, but the Clippers are driving here as we get closer to halftime on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here late in the second quarter of our first of a doubleheader of junior LC8 football here from Columbia Station. A big thank you to the Raiders for being a host site for this game, as a lot of these high schools, they just make our lives a lot easier with a press box to work with and all the amenities that come with that. And these youngsters get to play on a field they'll be seeing in a few years.
Yes, sir, and it's nice to see the youngsters be able to fill up a high school stadium as well. Great turnout from the crowds for both teams.
As each side's traveled well, and we'll likely see that in our second game as well. I know we will for one side, as Columbia will be in that second game, and the Oberlin Phoenix will be facing off with them. So now back here, 1st and 10, 27 seconds to go after Clippers took a timeout. And that ball, it looked like the Falcon ran the route for him, as I believe that was Harrison Lenhart. If he kept that in his hands, he might still be running.
Yeah, I don't think there's any might involved in that. It was going to be 28, 29, or 30-0 after that play for sure.
So the Clippers take a sigh of relief there, and it does stop the clock, so they're able to keep that last timeout in their pocket right now. But, man, a quick throw. At least it looked pretty quick, so the reaction time from Lenhart was impressive. And, I mean, because of the lack of downfield passing, these corners have felt comfortable with jamming the Clippers receivers, and that time it paid off almost.
Yeah, and Clearview's really making it tough on themselves. I think that's 3 times this possession alone they could have easily lost the ball.
So snap is corralled. Tolliver trying to bounce out of a few tackles, but he's going to be brought down after maybe a yard or two. So now they've got some decisions to make. 14, 13, 12, 11, and a timeout will be called with just 9 seconds to go. And that's the last one of the half for Clearview. So this could be the last play of the second quarter.
Yeah, and this is when it becomes interesting with that decision they made on 4th down when there was still about a minute and 30 seconds to go. They let the clock run down because they didn't want to leave Firelands in case they didn't convert. But then they end up converting, and now they don't have enough time to really finish off their best drive by far of the game. So it'll be disappointing a bit of here if they don't get to get any points out of this.
And reap the fruit of that. So now Firelands taking the field already is they know they just got to keep everything in front of them here. And including the game, what's also been in front of you is some of our great partners from around the county, making it possible for us to be out there, as you've also seen them during some of our breaks. Just to go over a few of them as they make it possible for us to be out here in these stadiums every Saturday. Big thank you to Elyria Charities, where it's all about education. The Lorain County Visitors Bureau, celebrating 200 years together. Quite some time. We hope to see another 200 years of Junior LC8. We'll see. And then Zabo Apparel, be game day ready all year long, as they help us be game day ready every weekend with all of our great gear and apparel as they're on Liberty Avenue in Vermillion. Coming back to the game now as each team breaks their huddles. We'll see Clearview's offense set up at the 29, 9 seconds to go. It is 3rd and 11, but the down and distance may be irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, I do hope Clearview at least takes a real chance at it here, though.
So Eli Cannon Santiago takes the snap. You got a man running on the field late as they try a pass over the middle. That's the second time we've seen them target Simmons. So that play didn't take too long, which it's almost maybe a positive he didn't come down with that one.
Exactly. It was the best thing to do to just drop that ball, but the Firelands penetration is kind of ridiculous right now. I don't know how Clearview could get a pass downfield if their quarterback can't get 2 or 3 seconds to work with.
And that offense will have 5 seconds left to work with here at the end of the half, facing a 4th and 11. As we'll see this few skill position players along with Cannon Santiago set up over there with their coach as they figure out a play call here for essentially the last one. I called the last one, so we'll see. I might jinx that again.
And it's been interesting how Clearview's been running their offense. Some of the time they're just going straight no huddle. Some of the time they're running off to talk to the coach, coming back with the play. They can't really seem to find a rhythm right now in regards to that.
So here we go, 4th and 11, 5 seconds remaining. We'll see Cannon Santiago load up. He's going over the middle, and it looked like it may have been brought down, but a great breakup that time by Lenhart. He continues to leave his fingerprints all over this game.
And it barely got there, but you were right. Last play of the half, and that'll be a Columbia 22-0 lead.
As we head into halftime, as the players will take a break, we will take one as well, with the Falcons up 22-0 on Clearview here in this opening half of play on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here as halftime gets close to wrapping up in our first of a doubleheader this evening of junior LC8 football. As you saw, the scoreboard about to hit 0. Firelands is the home team today as they lead 22-0, building quite the lead there in the first half against Clearview. But those Clippers, if you're just joining us or catching up on the replay, went on quite the drive there to end the half, eating up a lot of time and setting up some positivity that maybe they can carry over into this second half. As unfortunately, they just ran out of time near the end of the second quarter and were unable to come away with any points, but may have been able to take a few things from that and try to build on here. As the scoring for Firelands in that first half saw a little bit from everybody, as I believe the opening score was courtesy of Harrison Lenhart, and we saw a conversion on the point after attempt from Deacon Cooley, and another score in that first half included Branson Boos, who caught a short screen near the goal line and converted it for a touchdown. He didn't have to go too far. However, his receiver teammate Andrew Brubaker on a 33-yard touchdown catch and run delivered by his quarterback, who today has been Connor Voros, as he was able to set up both touchdown passes. So now each team is retaking the field. Clearview, fortunate enough to start on offense here. They'll set up at their own 35. A few playmakers that made a difference there down the stretch of the first half. Caden Tolliver, he sets up next to his quarterback, Cannon Santiago. And also a name we'll likely be calling again, Braxton Gonzalez, as he got a few touches there in the second quarter. So we're all set to go here. And it's a low snap. He's not able to hand it off to Tolliver, and just blowing up the play in the backfield for Firelands. There were a couple close by, but I believe Gavin Byer was the one that laid the hit, as that's how we're going to open the first part of the third quarter. But we do have an injury on the field, so we will step aside for a moment as they tend to that young man here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Injury timeout finished off there for the Clippers, as we may have a new quarterback in the ballgame, as it was tough to tell who went down there, but I believe they may have been helping Cannon Santiago off the field. So in his place will be Braxton Gonzalez. Unfortunately for Clearview, we've seen him handle the rock a few times, so obviously this won't be too foreign to him. He gets the low snap, and he'll set up the throw, but immediately has to try to abandon that, and he won't get away, as that's a second tackle for loss in a row by that Firelands Falcons defense.
And among the biggest problems Clearview's had so far is getting the snap off cleanly. I'd guess at least 50-60% of their snaps have been low, and it's really kind of hesitated what the quarterback gets to do and put him at a big disadvantage.
And it's possible it's also led to some of the handoff exchanges going awry, but also those haven't been clean, even if they've had the snap 100% of the time. So a few things to work on here, but we're still very early in the season, and obviously these guys don't get much of a preseason. They may see one scrimmage before the year starts, if that, if you can schedule around, but they're still figuring out a lot of things here.
Yeah, these first few weeks are kind of like their preseason on top of being the regular season. And good news for Clearview, it looks like Cannon Santiago is back in the game now.
So he's able to shake off whatever ailment was affecting him a play ago. Behind him, as he's under center, is Tolliver. They'll fake it to him, and they may have been trying to set up a screen something because that was so fast, as that's the second time in 3 plays we've seen Gavin Byer hit home.
And, I mean, that's back-to-back plays. The quarterback never stood a chance. 2 different quarterbacks in there, same result. Firelands defense coming out very aggressive out of the half.
Yeah, as they loaded the box and they sent a lot of guys to the backfield there, and it pays off, and it will lead to the walkout punt. So instead of trying to go for it on 4th and long, we'll see the Falcons set up shop at the 45 of Clearview. So they'll start another drive in plus territory, up 22-0 here with 6.5 to go in the 3rd quarter.
And that's the right choice. You got to make Firelands work for it, even though their offense has shown they could score whether they get it at the 1, the 50, the 25. You still don't want to give them too good a field position, so definitely agree with that decision by Clearview there.
And gives your defenders a little more breathing room. Don't feel as much pressure, ideally. But facing this deficit, they know they've got to step up here. As Firelands will look to extend that 22-0 lead that they hold now. And it's come from a variety of players. It's not like they've had to lean on one guy, and that makes it a lot tougher for this Clearview defense to try to hone in on who's getting the ball.
Yeah, I think balance has been the key and the biggest strength so far for the Falcons.
Pistol formation, Voros gets the snap. He looks left immediately, and that one's going to go over the head of his receiver, and it was very close to being a backwards pass. So it did appear that Caleb Steinhofer may not have clocked that, how close he was to being maybe behind the quarterback, but it looks like they'll blow it dead.
Yeah, and that was one of the very, very few plays where Firelands looked out of sync in any way. That's a rarity so far in this game.
So they'll come back to the line on 2nd down and 10. In Clearview, this is one of the few times they've, in a sense, had Firelands offense off schedule. So see if they try to take advantage of that here, change up the play calling at all, and it's going to be a handoff over to the right side. Ezekiel Jones breaks out of 1 tackle, tries to stiff arm another, but he's going to get plowed right there, taken to the ground after around 4 yards.
Yeah, good tackling by Clearview, but I also respect Jones. He could have stepped out, but instead he went right after it, picked up an extra yard or 2.
As that'll set up a 3rd and medium here. We'll call it 5. As it's 5:15 to go on a running clock here from Columbia Station. And a big shout out and thank you to everyone here helping run the youth program, the high school, as we have been delivered our rosters for the next game, which will be Columbia taking on the Junior Phoenix of Oberlin. Back here in this game, 3rd and 5. See a hand off the left side, cutting upfield and back towards the middle goes Jones, cutting across the entire formation as he's trying to outrun all these Clippers. Gets to the 20, 15-10, and he'll be pushed out of bounds, but not before setting up the Falcons with a 1st and goal.
Yeah, close to a 40-yard burst from Jones there, and he definitely used all of the field. What a cutback, way to finish that run, and very impressive back-to-back now runs for Jones.
As he brings the offense inside the 10, and we'll call it around the 9.5 yard line. So they'll have 4 goes of it here to try to build on this 22-point advantage. And it's interesting, obviously Lenhart's a name we called often, but right now Ezekiel Jones getting a lot of the carries and a lot of the work here on offense as they'll look outside this time through the hands of Austin Davis as he may have had some room to work with and a blocker in front of him in Julian DiFilippo.
Yep, and that's now 2 times on this drive that they weren't able to connect with Davis there. Clearly, though, they are trying to get the ball in his hands and give him a chance to do something with it.
And the more options that this Falcons offense can find out about, the more dangerous they become, which, I mean, as is, it's a pretty effective output, but it can come in handy, especially with a few guys playing both ways. Find a few key playmakers you might not have known about at the start of the year.
I mean, heck, look what Jones is doing right now on this drive. He wasn't looking like the main guy early in the game, and now he's looking like a star.
As he will line up behind Voros. Stepping a little bit closer. Line will be in place, and Voros trying to get a man to motion. Here it comes, and they'll run away from the motion man as he's going to keep it on a sweep around the left side, trying to spin his way out, but he's not going anywhere. Great form and wrap-up tackle there by the Clipper defender.
Yeah, Alan Wu in there. What a tackle. Just one-on-one out in space. Who's going to make the play? And he was not letting up right there. Very, very impressive from that young man.
And so what started as first and goal from the 9 is now resulted in third and goal as they have 11 yards to go. So nothing but backwards here after getting inside the 10. And it puts a little more pressure on this offense now.
And it's nice to see Clearview still out there fighting and scrapping. They could have easily hung their heads a little bit at halftime and then after a couple big plays on this drive. But they're pushing back and they're trying to come up with a big stop to open the second half.
So this would be a huge stop now as they are defending from their 11. We'll see a fake handoff. Great play action by Boros as he's going to loft it away from his target there. Tough to tell. The official's going to say it hit the ground. Trying to secure a number. I think the target there was Deacon Cooley.
The fake was so well done. I think it took a little bit of away from the pass. He put so much into that fake, but they still almost connected. But now here we go. Even though the Falcons have taken up over 7 minutes on this drive, the Clippers still have a chance to hold them to 0 points and get the ball back.
And now it becomes a lot more simple of a defensive game plan. Just set up around that goal line and don't let them through. So we'll see if Firelands has a play to crack it from the 11. 4th and goal. 2:54 remaining here in the third quarter. Falcons up 22-0. Boros will get the snap, dropping back. He's going to unload. There's a couple defenders in the area. It's going to fall harmlessly to the ground, but it'll be a turnover on downs.
Yeah, no need for Clearview to pick it off there. Just make sure the ball does not get caught by the Falcons. And if there's anything the Clippers can hang their hat on so far from this game, it's that stop right there. What a big, big stop for the Clippers.
And that'll exude some confidence for sure, as now they'll get the ball back. 2:46 to go here in the third. Still trailing by 22, but we've seen a few more positive signs from their offense, especially when they've been able to have all of their starters out there and have a regular game situation where they're not rushed by the clock.
And we talked about it. These first couple of games are also kind of like preseason games. So even if Clearview can't make the comeback to get the victory, they could still take a lot from this game, learn a lot from this game, and make it a positive.
And so their coach is going over some plays right now, I imagine, as the line is set up and awaiting their quarterback and receivers and running backs. Once again, 2:46 to go here in the third quarter. And just a perfect opportunity to remind you about a few more of the companies you're seeing in the corner of your screen and helping us come out here and make this coverage happen. Chris Kep over at Slimans and Amherst. Need a Jeep? Call Chris Kep, 440-420-0681, as well as Brian Victor of Howard Hanna, as he says, to enjoy the game. And we certainly have here in what feels like an October evening at Columbia Station in Southwest General Stadium. So Clearview starts this drive at the 11. We're going to see that time a name we've called pretty often in Tolliver make some moves, and he'll get up ahead for a nice gain on the carry.
Tolliver doing what he does, make things happen, gain positive yardage. Let's see if the Clippers could really build off that defensive stop and turn it into their first points of the game.
And I like the creativity they're using to try to get him involved. It's not all just a traditional handoff, as that would obviously become predictable, and Firelands more likely to stop it. They've been getting him involved in some sweeps and around on a lot of motion as well.
Yeah, they know that, especially after the first couple times he touches the ball, that Firelands were going to start to key in on him. So they have been able to get creative in a few ways to get him the ball. Now let's see if they can sustain a drive and him be a big part of that.
As they do have to go the full length of the field here. It's been one of the tougher spots they've started a drive. However, that's because of a great stop by their defense. So now with a minute 40 to go, as the clock continues to move, Clearview will set up for 2nd and 4. Motion man Gonzalez coming across, low snap, and that's just going to have to be jumped on by Cannon Santiago. And It's obviously we've seen a few of those today, and I imagine that'll be something they focus on in practice and trying to lock down and figure out here moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's really putting them at a disadvantage, and they're really only getting 2 or 3 downs to play with instead of 4 downs to play with because they're usually wasting one, honestly, with some type of fumble or mishap.
So that time, the snap is low, and it looked like he almost have gotten it to his skill player, but I don't think the man in motion saw it. And coming up with it is Weston Alamo, and he'll get the ball back for the Falcons.
Yeah, the snap originally hit the ground. Nice job to scoop it up by the quarterback, but then once again, just trouble with the transition to the running back, and another turnover for the Clippers, and the Firelands are getting a mulligan from where they got stopped at last drive.
Yeah, just a couple yards away, I believe. They may be at the 12 right now, so they'll set up where they gave the ball away, like Paul mentioned. As we want to thank you for tuning in here on the Lorain County Sports Network, as every Friday and Saturday here in the fall, there's going to be content on the channel for you. So remember to like the streams and subscribe, as we just got over 1,000 subs on the channel. So that's a big milestone as we enter year 3 overall doing stream coverage across the county. So big thank you to all of you, as we now have Firelands leading 22-0, and we'll have a new quarterback in the game, and that leads to almost a disaster there, as they're just trying to burn some time and extend their lead. I believe Andrew Brubaker, who we saw catch a touchdown earlier, is now the quarterback.
Yeah, and those are things, even with a big lead, you still don't want to see happen. But I'm sure the Firelands coach is glad he can do it with a little cushion, iron out some of these kinks and get these wrinkles out the way.
So it makes it 2nd and 11, and depending on when the officials set the ball, they may not need to run another play. 20 seconds to go as the clock runs, but looks like the Falcons will get at least one more in before the end of the 3rd quarter while they lead 22-0.
It seems like they want to more than they have to.
So they'll take any extra rep they can get. Lenhart takes it, and he'll get up ahead to around the 10, and will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. So we'll flip the field, step aside, and when we come back, we'll see what Firelands has in store to finish off this drive here on the Lorain County Sports Network. You're getting a look at the scoreboard there ahead of the 4th quarter here, as Columbia is hosting, but right now Firelands leads Clearview 22-0, is threatening to score again, as they have been able to take over this game, but it's come to a little bit of a standstill as Clearview has had some positive plays here in this 2nd half.
Yeah, and it's really just been that one long drive from Firelands in the 3rd quarter, taking up about 80% of the quarter.
So Lenhart, he's going to get a handoff, tries to cut around the left side. He'll be brought down, as that was a 3rd and 7, as we haven't seen them in too many tough spots like that, and I think he's going to come up a little bit short, bringing up a 4th down, where we have seen the Clippers stand tall previously.
Yeah, the Clippers, especially over the past couple possessions of Firelands, their defense has looked a lot better. But Firelands, the play they just ran, I think they picked up about 4 or 5 yards, and that's been their bread and butter play, just hitting the crease on the left or right side of the offensive line, and it's always gotten them a pretty good game.
And when their athletes use their speed and space, and they've got several of them. We'll trust Lenhart again. He gets it around the right side. He's going to try to use the power there. And it looks like the official here closer to our side may have marked him for the first down.
Yeah, I think he got there, and that wasn't the approach I thought he was going to take, but he said, heck with it. Let me put my head down, see if I might be able to even get this thing in the end zone.
And Lenhart, a name we've called pretty often here this evening. And before the game, very cool moment as actually his grandfather came up to the booth and talked about how they've seen these streams before, and it's helped family from out of state be able to view it, and cleared us up on his grandson's name. So big thank you to him, and shout out there. As it's always great to have moments like that, and we love hearing about it, and it's truly what this is all about.
It really is what it's all about, and yeah, anyone we can reach, it's special.
And Lenhart, speaking of special, jumps in for another touchdown as he continues to impress and extend this Firelands lead.
Did he hear us up here talking about him? Talk about good timing. Jeez.
So, right there, he'll make it 28-0. And just for clarification, you won't see a scoreboard on this game as we had some technical difficulties there in the open. But can ensure we'll make sure that is fixed up for the next game and moving forward. As you can see there, great work by Sam getting you the look. As it may say Columbia up there, but right now Firelands has owned this place with a 28-0 lead. But those Raiders will be up next in our doubleheader. They'll take on Oberlin a few minutes after the conclusion of this game, as we'll start a new stream for that. So we're going to see that time Brubaker load up, and he rifled that into his target. May have been a little too hot to handle for Julian DiFilippo.
Yeah, I mean, it was there, but yeah, it was thrown a little hard, and it just kind of went through the hands there. But another successful drive for the Falcons, and now let's see if their defense can continue to be just as impressive as their offense and pitch a shutout.
As they did so last week in the opener of not only their season, but for year number 3 of the junior LC8, as we were ecstatic to bring you that and start another season of coverage here on YouTube. And it's a nice carryover from our Friday nights, as Firelands was able to defeat hosting Brookside. And looks like they are well on their way to getting to 2-0 on this young season.
And not just 2-0, but a dominant 2-0. If we were looking ahead, I think it's clear that Firelands is going to be one of the top contenders and one of the top teams all season.
And it's got a good foundation, as they've always been pretty competitive here in this league. And we a lot of times have talked about the size they have up front on the lines of scrimmage, but that hasn't gone away. And now you pair it up with some of these really great playmakers, and it's a dangerous combo for everybody else to deal with.
It really is, and they just already look so comfortable within their schemes and with what they're doing. And like we also touched on earlier, there's so many different playmakers out there on both sides of the ball for this Falcons team. They look like a team that's going to be very tough to beat for anyone in this league.
So Clearview's offense will take the field and get back at it here, as we've got just over 6 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Clearview's offense, again, just kind of slowed down, no real cohesion, and just hopefully they can smooth this out and get this figured out as the season goes on.
And the big key for that here throughout the remainder of the season will definitely be Caden Tolliver. He's lined up right now at the top of that I formation. And it's tough to tell in that body of Falcons who was the handoff going to. Tough to say, but either way, it's going to be a big loss.
And it seemed like for Clearview's defense, a lot of times when they're making tackles, it's a solo tackle. It seems like for the Falcons, almost every time they're bringing down a clipper, it's 3, 4, 5 of those guys all coming in at once and bringing the offensive player down.
Yeah, group tackling has been their specialty today. And it makes it 2nd down and 15 to go, as we hit the 5-minute mark here at Southwestern General Stadium, as this is our first time coming out to Columbia this season for junior LC8, but I also believe the first time in general that any of our crews have been able to come out here to what is just a beautiful stadium and setting for football here in Ohio.
Yep, and though there's less than 5 minutes remaining in this one, we will have another one coming for you right after this. So no worries, we're just getting started.
And I believe those lights, they may have already been turned on. They may be warming up now, and we'll likely get to see them in their full glory here in game number 2 as these guys will get to play under the lights.
It's nothing like it.
And we'll see a low snap there as Cannon Santiago just has to jump on that one and live to fight another down.
I would really like to see Clearview, once they get the snap communication figured out, see what their offense can do when they have a real chance at it and a real go at just having an opportunity to see if they can convert some of these passes or some of these running plays.
And we've seen they've been able to find some lanes, and they've also obviously got the athletes to be effective, especially at this level where one guy can really swing a game for you, as we've seen in seasons past. So that one blown up immediately, and that's not the first time we've seen that from Gavin Byer. And instead of it being on a quarterback this time, he lights up the running back in the backfield.
I mean, the penetration that the Falcons have gotten all game, it's just scary. I don't think there's been more than a handful of plays where any Clipper had a lot of time to make a decision in the backfield.
And that takes us to the 3-minute mark just about in the final quarter of play here, as Firelands has been both phases of the game, offense and defense, and they've also really owned the field position advantage, time of possession, whatever stat you want to pull up, they have been effective. So they'll take this momentum and actually will bring it, in their case, ideally, to next week, as we will have them once again when they take on Black River, as we'll be heading out to Sullivan to watch that one. Clearview dropping back here on 4th and long, as Cannon Santiago just trying to make something happen. He'll be brought down close to the line of scrimmage and turn the ball over on downs, and they'll give it back to the Falcons, likely to close out this game.
Yeah, and if that's the final defensive possession for the Falcons, hats off to their defense today. I mean, they, off the top of my head, they couldn't have given up more than a handful of first downs. They were never really pushed or in a threatening position where Clearview even had a chance to score the ball. I mean, though the offense usually gets all the eyeballs and all the recognition, their defense for the second week in a row was just as elite.
Yeah, and I mean, outside, you talk about there was no super threat given by Clearview. They, at one time, that they got some momentum going near the end of the first half, but they couldn't really even operate normally because you're under a minute to go and you still weren't inside the 20. That was the one real time we saw the Clippers offense have some success and swing together some plays, as the clock will start here. As Firelands breaks the huddle, and they'll get started here at the 23. They'll come out, and we'll continue to see Brubaker at quarterback. So this is the 3rd quarterback we've seen for Firelands this year. It doesn't hurt to have some depth at that position. Cooley in motion, he'll get the handoff, cuts around a blocker, and spins his way down to the 15. And a nice little gain there as we are under a minute 40 to go.
And quarterback isn't the only position that the Falcons have shown to have some depth at. I mean, in the backfield, they're also rotating guys in and out. And it seems like each guy that gets a touch, he's making things happen. So the Falcons are going to have some good problems down the road as they have a lot of playmakers they could go to.
As they'll have to share the rock, but it doesn't appear like anybody has a issue or problem with that on this team, as they've been a well-oiled machine today. As we're at 65 seconds to go here in the 4th quarter before Firelands moves to 2-0 on the season.
And with as good as their defense is, they'll have a lot of offensive possessions for guys to get involved.
And Kenneth Putnam gets his first carry of the day as he moves the chains. And we'll likely need to see just one more snap of the ball. And it'll be a 28-0 final, although I will say Brubaker moving with a purpose there to get the play in. as they'll break the huddle, and with 35 seconds to go, they may not be letting up just yet.
Hey, we might think one way up here, but you know those kids, they want to get in every play they can.
Yeah, the competitive nature it's showing off as
And
he's going to throw it. Yes, Cooley catches it, trying to get the pylon, but great tackle there by Tolliver as he brings him down with 20 seconds to go.
And I appreciate, I guess, the coach buying into that and letting the guys kind of push the pace a little bit to get in another play or two.
And we'll have a man down as clock may stop for that, but looks like Tolliver, after making the tackle, he'll stay down for a moment or two as his coaches come to his aid. And got to imagine once he is okay and able to get off the field, they may let the clock run and end the game. So we will step aside. We may end the stream after we hit our commercial break and get ready for our next matchup this evening. So if this is the final play ran, it will go down Firelands 28, Clearview nothing here from Southwest General Stadium. Thank you for coming along with us or watching after the fact as we bring you junior LC8 football all season long here on the Lorain County Sports Network.